I was halfway out the door when my son's voice froze me in place. "Dad, don't come home tonight." I turned around, keys still dangling from my fingers. Ethan stood at the end of the hallway in his dinosaur pajamas, clutching his stuffed wolf so tightly his knuckles were white. His eyes, too serious for a 7-year-old, were fixed on me. "What do you mean, buddy?" I asked, forcing a smile. "It's late, you should be asleep." He shook his head. "I couldn't sleep, Dad, I know something about Mom." That was when the smile faded. Kids say strange things, I knew that. Imagination, overheard conversations, half-formed fears, but there was something different in Ethan's voice. Not playful, not dramatic, calm, certain, like someone who had already decided something terrible was true. "What do you know?" I asked gently. He swallowed. "I'm not supposed to tell, but I don't want you to get hurt." The word hurt landed like a punch. I knelt in front of him. "Ethan, listen to me. Mommy loves us, whatever you think you saw or heard." "She doesn't know that I know," he interrupted. "But I saw it, and I heard her on the phone. Dad, please, don't come home tonight." For a moment the house felt too quiet. The hum of the refrigerator, the ticking clock. Somewhere upstairs my wife, Laura, was putting our daughter to bed. "Did Mom scare you?" I asked. "Did something happen?" He shook his head again, faster now. "She didn't scare me. She doesn't know I was there." My heart started pounding. "Ethan," I said carefully, "what exactly did you see?" His eyes filled with tears. "I saw her crying in the garage. She was holding a bag, and she said your name. And then she said, after tonight, it'll finally be over." I straightened slowly. "What bag?" I asked. "A black one, heavy. She couldn't lift it easy." I stood up, suddenly feeling lightheaded. Laura and I had been married for 12 years, 12 mostly good years. Sure, we argued, money, work, stress, but nothing violent. Nothing that made me think my own son would beg me not to come home. "Ethan," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I need you to tell me everything, even if you think you'll get in trouble." He wiped his nose with his sleeve. "She talks different when she thinks nobody's listening. She said tonight is the last chance, and she said he won't see it coming." That was enough. I hugged my son tightly. "You did the right thing telling me," I whispered. "I promise." I did confront Laura. I didn't say goodbye. I quietly walked out of the house and sat in my car with my hands shaking on the steering wheel. Where do you go when your own home feels unsafe? I drove aimlessly for almost an hour before pulling into a cheap motel on the edge of town. I didn't sleep. I replayed Ethan's words over and over, searching for logic. Maybe she was planning a surprise. Maybe the bag was gifts. Maybe my son misunderstood. But my gut told me otherwise. At 2:17 a.m. my phone buzzed. "Laura, where are you? You didn't come home." I stared at the screen, my finger hovering. "Working late," I typed. "Be home in the morning." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. She didn't reply. The next morning, I went straight to the school and dropped Ethan off myself. I crouched down and looked him in the eyes. "Listen to me carefully," I said. "If anything strange happens today, you tell your teacher, and you call me, okay?" He nodded. "Are you mad at Mom?" "No," I said. "I'm just being careful." After school, I called my brother Mark, a police officer in another district. I didn't accuse. I didn't panic. I just told him I felt uneasy and asked for advice. "Trust your instincts," he said, "and trust your kid. Children notice things adults ignore." That afternoon, while Laura thought I was at work, I went back to the house. The garage smelled faintly of gasoline. My stomach dropped. I looked around carefully. At first, nothing seemed out of place. Then I noticed the cabinet near the wall was slightly open. Inside was a large black duffel bag. Heavy. My hands trembled as I unzipped it. Inside were bottles, cleaning chemicals, gloves, a crowbar, zip ties. and a folded piece of paper with my name on it. I sat down hard on the concrete floor. The note wasn't long. I didn't want it to be like this, but you never listen, you never leave. After tonight, it will finally be quiet. I heard the door to the house open. Daniel, Laura called. I zipped the bag shut just as she stepped into the garage. Her smile faded when she saw my face. You weren't supposed to be here, she said quietly. The calmness in her voice scared me more than shouting ever could. What is this, Laura? I asked, my voice cracking. What were you planning? She looked at the bag, then at me. You ruined everything, she whispered. I backed away, keeping distance between us. Our son saw you, he warned me. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. That little spy, she said. That was it, any doubt I had shattered. I'm calling the police, I said. She laughed, a short, bitter sound. Go ahead, I almost wish you would. But I already had. Mark arrived with local officers within minutes. Laura didn't resist. She just stared at me as they put her in handcuffs. You think you're the victim, she said softly, but you have no idea what it's like to feel trapped. Later, the truth came out. Laura had been planning for weeks. She felt suffocated by our life, resentful, convinced that leaving wasn't enough. She wanted control, an ending she could shape. If I had come home that night, I wouldn't be telling this story. Ethan saved my life. The weeks that followed were a blur: court dates, therapy sessions, whispers from neighbors. I moved the kids into a small apartment. They asked about their mom. I told them she was sick and getting help. One night, as I tucked Ethan into bed, he looked up at me. Dad, he asked, did I do something bad? My heart broke. No, I said, pulling him into a hug. You did something brave. You listened to your heart. He nodded slowly. I was really scared. I know, I said, but because of you we're safe. Sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. And sometimes the warning you almost ignore is the one that saves your life.